Hello there everybody and welcome back to Starspeed. So we all know the story. In 2012, Disney took over Lucasfilm and George Lucas handed over the Star Wars franchise. And in the years prior, Disney released 3 Star Wars films, or 3 sequel films. Now I'm going to discuss today why I think these 3 films failed, and it's not actually a very discussed theory, at least my theory isn't about why they failed. Also, before I start this video, I'd just like to say I mean no hate towards the sequels whatsoever. I respect the people that do enjoy these, but in my eyes, they weren't so great. But if you like them, that's cool, honestly, and I respect you if you do enjoy them. Can we please try and keep things civil in the comments, guys? I know how hard that is, but yeah. And this is probably going to be the first and last time I really talk about my opinions about the sequels, because, well, I don't really want to dive into that side of Star Wars. I just want to cover the stuff I enjoy. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right on into the video. Many people blame the failure of the sequel trilogy to lack of planning. And in some ways I agree with this, but in most ways I actually disagree. Disney was under a lot of pressure, and they released 5 Star Wars films in the space of 4 years. Well, not including the making time of The Force Awakens, but anyway, they released 5 Star Wars films in the space of 4 years. And whilst each of those films were being shot, the next one was being written. The good thing about this method was that the directors and writers weren't influenced off of what the audience thought of the last film, and they weren't really pressured when writing as much as they would have been if they knew what the audience hated and they knew they were going to hate this film. But where I think the sequel trilogy really failed was for 3 main reasons. Number 1 being the unfortunate passing of Carrie Fisher. Now, in case you didn't know, the first movie, The Force Awakens, was very much supposed to be Han Solo's movie, the second being Luke's movie, and the third being Princess Leia's movie. Now, unfortunately, Carrie Fisher, who played Princess Leia, never actually managed to film the 9th film of Star Wars. And back before The Rise of Skywalker was even an idea, Colin Trevorrow was supposed to write Episode 9, and of course direct it. In that script, Carrie played a central role, and unfortunately with her passing, it was just impossible to work around it, so eventually that made Colin Trevorrow leave the project due to the fact that it's not the way he envisioned it, and he just had already written a script. So the script got handed over to J.J. Abrams, leading on to my second point for handing back over to J.J. Abrams. J.J. Abrams clearly had a different vision to Rian Johnson and to Colin Trevorrow, pretty much. Although he did take a lot of material from Colin Trevorrow's script, it still obviously wasn't the same thing, and it was The Rise of Skywalker, not Duel of the Fates. It was almost like a war between Rian and JJ. JJ started off the trilogy, setting up all these characters, and Rian Johnson clearly just threw some of them away. So what did JJ do when he came back on? He basically just rewrote everything that was in The Last Jedi. And the whole of the final Skywalker Saga film was basically just rewriting the last one. Or that's how it felt in my eyes. I think we can all agree that JJ clearly didn't like some of the decisions that Rian made, and basically just went back on them. So that film kind of basically just felt like the end of the sequel trilogy, and just a rewrite of the last one, instead of the climactic end to the Skywalker Saga, which we were all hoping for. Now, I think the major aspect, and the one big thing that made the sequel trilogy fail in my eyes, was due to the fact that JJ came in and wrote his script for Episode 9 after The Last Jedi had come out. So far, all of the planned scripts had been written before the previous one came out. The Last Jedi was being written when The Force Awakens was filming and in post-production, and the script for Colin Trevorrow's Episode 9 was being written when The Last Jedi was filming and when The Last Jedi was in post-production. So when JJ came in, that kind of just broke the loop. Because Colin Trevorrow had left, and JJ could kind of see how the fans reacted to The Last Jedi, and how a majority of them disliked it. JJ kind of, I think, felt that he didn't like it either, and he knew the fans didn't like it, so he could use that as an excuse to basically just rewrite things. It's not that Disney didn't have a plan, they had a plan, or at least kind of one. They had Colin Trevorrow's Episode 9, an unbiased version, that the last draft was completed over a year before The Last Jedi came out. So they were literally go ahead to start on that. And they would have probably filmed that before The Last Jedi even came out, or whilst it was coming out. So Colin and the writers wouldn't really feel as much pressure, knowing that people hated the last film, giving them the opportunity to expand on the story instead of kind of going back on themselves. However, when JJ came in, the reactions to The Last Jedi were already out in the world. There was nothing he could do to change that, apart from basically just try and undo what's already been done, leading to what we got, which is the Rise of Skywalker, which probably had a lot of troubles in shooting and story-wise due to the company's worry about the not well success of the last film. I think you can kind of see where I'm coming from with this, but yeah, basically that's my reasons. Why do you guys think the sequel trilogy was less successful? Make sure to let me know down in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer your questions, and it's always nice to have a comment. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day. May the Force be with you guys. Bye.